When you finally realize that no one is coming to save you, life becomes clearer. No one cares about your excuses, your struggles, or your comfort zones. People only care about results, about what you bring to the table, about the value you create. And that truth is not meant to break you, it's meant to free you. Because the moment you stop expecting others to carry you, you start carrying yourself. The moment you stop waiting for validation, you start building real strength. Life becomes simpler when you accept that your success, your growth, and your freedom will always depend on one person, you. No one cares about your excuses, only your results. This is one of the hardest truths to accept, but once you internalize it, everything about your life changes. Excuses are easy, they are comfortable, and they give you a temporary escape from responsibility. You can tell yourself you didn't have enough time, that you were too tired, that life wasn't fair, or that circumstances were against you. But the reality is that no one is waiting to hear your list of reasons. The world is not sitting around concerned about why you didn't show up, why you didn't push harder, why you didn't finish what you started. People measure you by what you accomplish, not by the stories you tell about why you couldn't. This may sound harsh, but it is liberating, because once you understand that your excuses hold no weight outside of your own head, you stop wasting energy on them and start channeling everything into action. Think about it. When you look at someone successful, do you ever wonder about the excuses they could have made? No, you admire their results. You look at the business they built, the body they transformed, the discipline they mastered, or the skills they developed. You don't think about how many nights they were tired, how many times they didn't feel like it, or how many obstacles stood in their way. You only see the outcome. The same goes for you. People will never remember why you didn't make it. They will only see whether you did or didn't. Excuses vanish into thin air, but results stand forever. That is why Karl Marx emphasized the reality of labor and production, because in society, value is never based on intention. It is based on what you produce. You might have the best dreams, the purest intentions, but until you convert them into tangible results, they hold no weight. Excuses are rooted in the desire to be understood, to be given sympathy, but simply won't change your life. The system doesn't reward effort alone, it rewards what you create with that effort. You could spend 10 years telling yourself you are trying, but if there is nothing to show for it, the world will move on without you. The harsh truth is that people are too busy dealing with their own struggles to give your excuses the attention you think they deserve. Once you embrace this, you stop wasting time seeking pity and start demanding more from yourself. You realize that no one is handing out success based on effort, only based on execution. Karl Marx believed that society is structured around output, that the system is built to reward what you deliver, not what you intend. And whether you agree with his philosophy or not, you can't escape the truth of it in your own life. Your boss doesn't care about how difficult your morning was. They care about whether you delivered the work. The marketplace doesn't care how many hours you spent thinking. It cares about what you built, what you launched, what you sold. Your fitness doesn't care about how stressful your week was. It only reflects whether you trained, whether you ate right, whether you showed consistency. Results are all that remain after excuses fade away, and this is where true accountability begins. When you stop hiding behind excuses, you unlock your real power. Because every excuse is just energy misdirected. It is the same energy you could use to push forward, to take action, to prove yourself through results. You begin to see that excuses are nothing but stories you create to protect your ego from discomfort. They feel good in the moment, but they rob you of progress. And progress is the only currency life respects. Once you eliminate excuses, you strip everything down to a simple equation. Did you do it or did you not? That clarity removes confusion and it makes life simpler. No more hiding, no more pretending. You take full responsibility, and in that responsibility lies your freedom. No one cares about your struggles, only how you overcome them. Life is filled with battles, pain, and challenges that feel overwhelming at times, but the truth is the world is not stopping to sympathize with your suffering. Everyone is fighting their own private war, everyone is carrying their own weight, and because of that, your struggles, as real and heavy as they may be, are not enough to define you. What defines you is how you respond to them, what you do in spite of them, and the strength you build as a result of facing them head on. Struggle is universal, but victory is rare. That is why people admire not the person who complains about the burden, but the one who learns how to carry it and transform it into growth. When you tell people about your struggles, some may nod, some may show pity, but in the end, their lives go on. Sympathy does not change your situation, and it certainly does not build your future. What leaves a mark, what captures attention is resilience. Everyone is struggling in some form, but not everyone turns that struggle into power. Struggle is the soil, but the seed is what you plant in it, and the harvest is what you reap from it. If you let your struggles bury you, then that is all the world will see, another person who fell. But if you rise from them, the struggle becomes a part of your story, not the end of it. The people who inspire us are not those who lived easy lives, but those who fought, endured, and came out stronger. This is the same truth Karl Marx spoke about when he highlighted the suffering of the working class. Struggle was their reality, but he believed transformation came not through pity but through action unity. And change struggles are not excuses, they are tests. They are life's way of pressing on you to see if you will break or adapt. Most people waste energy hoping their struggles will earn them understanding from others, but the truth is no one has the time to carry your weight for you. You are expected to rise, to endure, to fight, because that is the only way forward. And the moment you understand that no one is keeping score of your pain, you free yourself from seeking validation. You stop waiting for someone to feel sorry for you, and instead you find ways to convert that pain into strength. Struggle becomes fuel rather than chains. That shift in mindset is what separates the defeated from the determined. Marx understood that society often feeds on the struggles of individuals, that the system is not designed to remove them, but to exploit them. And yet the lesson remains: the system will not ease your burden for you. If anything, it will add to it. That is why you cannot afford to fold under the pressure. You must rise above it, because only through rising do you gain control over yourself and, in some cases, inspire change around you. Overcoming struggles is not only about survival, it is about creating proof that you can. Proof for yourself, proof for others, proof that your circumstances will never be greater than your will. When you endure struggle and overcome it, you gain something that cannot be taken away: character. Every struggle leaves a mark, but how you wear that mark is your choice. You can let it scar you in weakness, or you can let it carve you into strength. And the world, harsh as it may seem, is only looking at the end result. They don't want to know how dark your nights were, how many tears you shed, or how heavy the weight was. They only want to know if you stood back up. They only want to see if you created something out of the fire, if you transformed your pain into purpose, if you turned the impossible into reality. Your struggles may be real, but they are not your identity. Your identity is built in how you face them and what you build beyond them. No one cares about your comfort, only the value you create. Comfort is one of the greatest illusions of our time. It feels good, it feels safe, it feels secure, but it is also the very thing that quietly robs people of growth, progress, and fulfillment. The world does not reward you for how comfortable you are. It rewards you for what you produce, what you contribute, and what you give that is of value to others. Comfort zones are like invisible prisons, soft, pleasant, and convincing, but the longer you stay inside them, the more they limit you. The truth is, no one is counting the hours you spend at ease. No one is keeping track of how relaxed you feel, because comfort creates nothing. What people remember is the value you bring to the table, the problems you solve, and the impact you leave behind. Karl Marx often highlighted the nature of labor, productivity, and value in society. He pointed out that a person's worth in the system is often measured not by their inner peace or comfort, but by what they can produce and how that production feeds into the larger structure of society. In the capitalist system, he criticized, comfort was never the priority, extraction of value was. And while that reality is harsh, it carries a lesson. If you want to rise above being controlled, you must learn to create value on your own terms, not wait for comfort to shield you. Comfort may feel like freedom, but it often disguises dependence, while value gives you strength, independence, and the ability to shape your own path. Think about it when you remember people who inspire you. Is it because they lived comfortable, easy lives, or because they endured discomfort and still created something meaningful? Every invention, every revolution, every change came from someone who chose discomfort in the pursuit of something greater. They sacrificed ease for purpose, and in that sacrifice, they created value that outlived them. Comfort never writes history. Courage, work, and contribution do. The moment you prioritize comfort over creation, you start shrinking. The moment you chase comfort instead of chasing growth, you settle for less than what you are capable of. And when you settle, the world moves on without you, because the world is hungry not for how good you feel, but for what good you do. The system, as Marx described, thrives on people who trade their time and labor for the illusion of comfort, often trapped in cycles of survival while their true potential goes unused. But what happens if you flip that script? What if you step outside comfort and focus on building skills, ideas, and actions that generate real value? Suddenly, you stop being just another worker and you start becoming a creator. You begin to hold leverage, not because comfort gave it to you, but because your value demands it. This is the deeper truth. Society only respects those who bring something meaningful, those who produce results, those who solve problems that others cannot or will not. Comfort is temporary, value is lasting. Comfort fades the moment life tests you, but value stays and opens doors long after the struggle is over. Comfort is personal, but value touches lives beyond your own. Comfort makes you feel good in the moment, but value gives you a legacy. The harsh reality is that no one will ever celebrate you for how comfortable you were. They will celebrate you for the challenges you embraced, the sacrifices you made, and the difference created. And that difference is only born when you step out of comfort and into the arena where growth, contribution, and value are demanded of you. Marx's philosophy reminds us that systems will always try to dictate the terms of your value, often reducing it to labor and profit. But when you take control, when you decide to go beyond the chase for comfort and deliberately create value that aligns with your vision, you rise above being just another piece in the machine. You become someone who defines their own path, someone who refuses to let comfort dull their potential. And that is what the world truly notices. Not your comfort, but your contribution. Not your ease, but your impact. Not your desire for safety, but your courage to create something that matters. No one cares about your potential, only the action you take. Potential is one of the most overrated ideas people hold on to. It makes you feel good about yourself without actually requiring you to do anything. People love to hear they have potential, that they could be great, that they have what it takes. But the truth is, potential is nothing more than an unused promise. It is like having seeds in your hand but never planting them. The world does not reward you for what you could do. It only rewards you for what you actually do. That is why so many talented people stay unnoticed, why so many brilliant minds remain unknown, and why so many dreams die quietly. Potential is meaningless until it is transformed into consistent, deliberate action. Karl Marx, in his philosophy, spoke about how labor is what defines human activity and value. He emphasized that action, the work itself, is what produces change both in society and in the individual. You could have all the ability in the world, but unless that ability is directed into labor, into creation, into tangible movement, it remains invisible. In the system he analyzed, you are not judged for what you might be capable of, but for what you contribute, what you produce, what you bring forth into reality. And in life outside of just the system, the same law applies. People do not remember potential, they remember results. They do not admire what you could have been, they admire what you actually became. Think of how many people you know who had incredible dreams but never moved on them. They talked big, they planned big, but they never acted. Over time, their potential becomes their biggest burden because it haunts them. It reminds them of what they could have achieved if only they had courage to act. Action is what separates dreamers from doors. Action is what separates those who make history from those who are forgotten. You cannot wait for the perfect moment, the perfect opportunity, or the perfect conditions. The act of moving forward, even in imperfection, is what turns potential into power. Without action, potential slowly rots into regret. The world we live in is full of distractions designed to keep you sitting on your potential. Endless entertainment, comfort zones, and false promises of overnight success. All of these trap people into thinking that one day, somehow, their potential will magically unfold. But it never does. Potential does not grow in stillness. It grows when you take risks, when you fail, when you learn, when you act repeatedly despite setbacks. Marx's view of human progress shows us that history has always been written not by those who had the most potential, but by those who organized, those who built and sacrificed and moved forward. Action is the true engine of transformation. And here is the harsh reality. No one cares about what you could do. They care about what you have done, what you are doing, and what you can show as a result. Employers, partners, friends, society at large, no one is waiting around for you to tap into your hidden abilities. They are watching to see if you act, because action creates trust, action creates respect, action creates impact. Talk without movement creates nothing. Even your own self-respect grows not from knowing your potential, but from proving it through action. When you act, you build momentum, and momentum builds power. That is when potential stops being a dream and starts becoming your reality. Marx's critique of the system teaches us that many live their entire lives with untapped potential because they are too caught up in structures that drain them of energy, leaving no room for real growth. But even within such a system, the way forward is not to sit idle, but to act, to create, to build something that carries your mark. Because when you act, you stop being invisible. You stop being just a possibility and become a force. The world cannot ignore action. It can only ignore silence, waiting, and wasted potential.